What's up, everybody? This is your guy, JD, and we're here for another episode of C.A.P. And what we're going to do, we're going to cultivate.
And this is your girl, Erica J, and we're going to accumulate, and together
we will all
prosper.
So what's good, Erica? It's good to be back in the booth.
Man, it has been a wonderful week. I took a day off yesterday to kind of try to get some things done because I got some things coming up, and been very, very excited with this voting going on for the Memphis Elegance Awards.
That's right, everybody. If you are a viewer of our show and you support us, definitely vote us for Memphis Elegance Awards 2025 Podcast of the Year. We're in this thing to win it. We want to keep bringing you good content, and today will be no different on this Memorial Day weekend. So we're going to get right off into the buzz.
Yeah.
So the first buzz topic we have is Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers hit a big shot against the New York Knicks on Wednesday in the playoffs. And by the way, with him hitting that shot, it took them into overtime, which helped me win my parlay. So that's always a good thing. But what's your take on it?
Listen, of course, you all know that I've been getting myself more familiar with sports and stuff. So I have been really following Tyrese and some of the other players. There was a time I would not know these players' names, okay? So the fact that I even know them, that shot was amazing. I love to see shots like that, especially if they can take you into overtime and help him win his parlay.
Yeah. Well, it was 30 years ago, and I'm once again, everybody know I don't have no problem saying my age, but Reggie Miller hit a shot just like that, and he did the choke sign to Spike Lee, and Tyrese Halliburton did that same choke sign, even though it didn't win the game. It took it into overtime, and they eventually won the game. So it was nostalgic, great for theater and everything. But once again, I'm glad he hit it because, it did help me win my parlay that I set. So, and right now they won yesterday, and they up 2-0 on the Knicks. So the Knicks are in some trouble.
Yeah.
So all our listeners and viewers, if you're a Knicks fan, hey man, y'all got to get it together because y'all heading to Indiana down 0-2. Same way y'all did Boston, y'all getting done. So, oof.
Oh,
so
you're throwing some shade.
Yeah, no shade. Cause I'm not a Celtic fan either. So my team is not doing much. I ain't been in the playoffs since Derrick Rose. Chicago Bulls. All right. So the next buzz topic, keeping with the NBA, SGA, which his name is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, has become the NBA MVP this year for the Oklahoma City Thunder. What's your take on that?
I have been enjoying following some of these players and I recognize that name too. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good, but hats off to him. That is really, really good, and I think that's well deserved as well.
Yeah. Well, he is a scoring machine. He does have some other things sometimes when it comes to drawing fouls, but hey. But during his reception of getting the MVP, he thanked his wife, which is fitting for our guest today, in that retrospect of a couple, of someone who's supporting you or whatnot. So that's always good for you fellas who have that. Hey, I applaud you. For the ladies who have that, I applaud you as well.
Recognize the wife, man.
Yeah. And last but not least, and this is a show I stumbled upon, and I just decided to take a look at it, and man, it hooked me in because it was a real good show. On Netflix, this series called Forever has been renewed for a second season. It's written by Mara Kilbrock, the lady who did Girlfriends, The Game back in the day, and it's based off a Judy Blume book, which I never read a Judy Blume book, but it's popular among other people. But she put her own spin on it, and it's a good show. The actor Wood Harris is in it. What's your take on it? Did you watch it?
I absolutely love this movie. I was a little bit late in watching it. I've seen people post about it.
The series.
Yeah, the series. I was seeing people post about the series, so I said, okay, I'm going to check this out. I think it was a little bit after you posted about it. And I said, okay, I'm going to take the time out, see what this is about. And I got hooked. Like I watched every single episode in 2 days. So I was like binge watching. I was on my break watching, and I am a sucker for romance. This was a great series, and it was realistic, in my opinion. You know, it really shows you how these teenagers can be, but to see what you would do for love as well. Like I said, I'm a sucker for romance. I was so intrigued by this movie. I was waiting to see what was going to happen next, so I had to keep on watching. Anybody who has not seen this series, you have to watch it. It is a great series. I think, and have read Judy Blume books, and I believe I read this one as well, and it was an even better fit. It makes me want to go back and read the book some more. Great series.
Well, I'm gonna take you on reading that book on that portion. I'm glad they got renewed for a second season. The actor Wood Harris, who's played in a lot of movies, plays the father in the show, and he gave good advice to his son. And Justin and Keisha, who are the main two characters.
Yeah.
It just shows the intricacies of how people can fall for folks, but then they still got to deal with their own insecurities and everything. So it's a good show. It's
something else to just add to that, too. Like you mentioned his father, and I also felt like it was like a really good of how they allowed the mother to be portrayed, you know, and how you're always like pushing your child to do what you did or what you think is best, and needing to pay more attention to what your child is trying to do as well.
Yeah, the mother and father definitely played different dynamics, but they both were there to help guide their son or whatnot. So it was, like I said, it's a good show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It did get renewed for a second season. It's called Forever, and it's a dope show, and they got some dope music, as far as on the soundtrack for the show. So definitely check that out. So now today we have some special guests. This is the first time since our very first season that we have had a couple on here, a couple that work together and also have other endeavors that they do. A little bit about these two individuals. They are a dynamic husband and wife duo, native Memphians, proud graduates of the University of Memphis Tigers. They both are IT professionals before they were married. And the big thing, they're owners of HOTWORX, the Edge District, which is a fitness center, wellness hub for busy professionals, staff, students, and anyone who are looking to increase and do their health. They also offer access to virtual led sessions like HIIT, training, cycling, and yoga. They've hosted special events like Sweet and Sip, the Summer Soiree, and Sweat and Friends, all designed to connect and empower the community and expertise. They empower the community, and they also have expertise in real estate. So without further ado, we want to introduce Jason and Carmella Rogers.
Yay. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Thank you.
No doubt. So besides the bio that I gave, tell us a little something about you to our listeners.
My name's, again, Jason Rogers, my wife, Carmella. I have 3 brothers. My parents are still living, 91 years old. What else can I talk? I love golf. I play a lot of golf. My other hobby, my wife doesn't like, but it brings in some money. But I'm enthusiastic about HOTWORX. I know the benefits and what people can get out of it. So that's our true passion, and I wouldn't do it with a better person than Carmella. So.
Okay.
Well, I'm Carmella Rogers, also native Memphian. I'm a Overton High School graduate, raised in, I guess you could say, the Binghamton area while I was younger, and then moved to Cherokee. and then have lived in the Cordova, southeast Memphis area. Now we're downtown. I met Jason through a mutual friend. I used to work for Federal Express back in the day in IT, and I left the company, but I had a friend that still worked there, ended up in a group with Jason. And he called me one day and was like, I want you to meet this guy. And it was Jason. So we met through a mutual friend, which I think is a great way to meet with someone that knows you and knows that person and knows that you guys could be a good fit, as opposed to some of the dating tactics that go on nowadays. So I looked up with Jason, and both being IT professionals, we also both were into real estate when we met.
Okay.
And so we both owned properties, real estate properties. We were landlords. I was doing IT consulting along with my full-time job, as well as Jason had like a moonwalk business and landlording and his IT job. And so we kind of merged everything together and married and, went on from there. It wasn't until in 2019, I've been in Memphis my whole life. I came to Jason, was like, hey, I'm ready to go. I want to live and travel, but I want to, maybe move out of Memphis and be somewhere else. And he wasn't ready. He's an avid golfer. His golf friends and buddies, poker buddies. And his parents are here. They're more elderly than mine, but they travel and get around more than we do. So I was like, that shouldn't be an issue. But anyway, he wasn't ready. And so I said, well, okay, having sang in bands a lot, that was my hobby. Sang in bands for many years. And so I said, okay, we're moving downtown. We're at least going to the entertainment district. We moved to the downtown South Main area so I can walk out of my house and be amongst the entertaining crowd, walk to eat and breakfast and, the clubs and all of that. So that's more who I am. Okay. I like to have fun and entertain.
I do too.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Sucker for romance, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, once we were making the move, we purchased a house in end of January of 2020. And we kept our other house in Cordova at the time because we had so much to downsize, because you're downsizing when you come downtown, not in the price but in the size.
Definitely not in the price.
Yes. So we decided I decided to keep the other house, give me time to move. So he actually moved in February downtown. I didn't move until March, and as soon as I moved in March downtown, COVID happened.
Wow.
And so it's like shut the city down, everything, and I'm looking at it like, okay, I can take my breath, because, one of the other reasons we moved downtown is I was an IT director with the convention center and tourism. And so, I was going to be closer to work, but with everything shut down, jobs, everything, that just gave me more time to go between Cordova and downtown to move this house. And so into the year of COVID, we were at a friend's house, and her friend came over and was telling me about, she would just come from riding a bike in a sauna. And I'm like, what do you mean you're riding a bike in a sauna? Where is that at? Because the city shut down. There's nothing's open, no fitness places, this and that. And so she told me about HOTWORX, and I was intrigued. Number one, that business mind of mine, I'm like, okay, it's a business able to sustain the pandemic. Okay, what is that? And there were several HOTWORX around, not knowing what it was. I would pass it and thinking maybe that's a food place or something like that. But once she told me about it, we were intrigued, and we went and visited the location at Poplar near Highland, near Char Restaurant. That was the closest one to downtown at the time. Went in, did the tour, learned about the concept of the infrared. It's 24 hours. And then me, being a woman, the anti-aging aspects, and then having access to saunas 24 hours, I can come and just zen. Like, I don't even have to do the workouts if I didn't want to. I could just chill. And so I was like, okay, I'm sold. And so we joined, and we were members. And then once I finalized the move from Cordova to downtown, that HOTWORX was 6 miles away, basically, because, it was easier because I'm going back and forth. But now that I'm more settled, I'm like, I'm not going to want to do this drive every day, 6 miles. And so the idea came in my mind around December of 2020. Maybe we can put a HOTWORX downtown. So we bought the license, and we've been moving from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of leads to my first question I wanted to ask in regards to that, being IT pros. So what sparked you all to pivot to that? So you kind of answered some of that.
Mm-hmm.
What else I would say made you all want to pivot to that?
Well, I thought it was a great business concept. Now, Jason still maintains his full-time job. I quit my IT job to fully run HOTWORX, especially for the first 2 years, to make sure it was off the ground and running and going to be successful. So I still did that, but I love the technology. You book all the sessions on an app. You can see what's available in the saunas. 3 people can fit into each sauna. The workouts are virtually led on the screen. So you have 3 different instructors. So whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you can follow along with the workouts. So everything is tech driven, so to speak, as far as, how you operate within the HOTWORX. Even when you come in the door, everybody has a code. If you're a member, you have a code to get in the door. So most people, when you just walk up to a HOTWORX, you're not going to be able to get in. There, if it's staffing hours, staff will let you in, because that's how we do guests and signups. But generally, our members have a code, or their app will let them in the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exclusive.
Yes.
Yeah. And safety.
Very safe, yes. And it's a boutiques gym. We're not the big box, gym like a Crunch or something like that. We're different. We are more, we try to separate ourselves in that we're a little bit more upscale. We cater to, a different crowd, a crowd that really doesn't want to be in the big box gym field.
Right.
The more intimate and boutique environment, people who don't want people gawking at them. And then you have a lot of ladies, they don't like being in those types of environments. They like the intimacy. There's the privacy in the saunas where you can go in. And, the ladies, you can put on your bra tops, your yoga pants, and, you're a little bit more revealed because you're in there sweating. Now, men are required to always have a shirt on. So either T-shirt or wife beater. Can't just be around there with your chest out hanging out. So there are rules within HOTWORX, but, necessary rules.
You always have those few fellas like, hey.
Oh, you always, we correct behaviors all the time. But like I said, we want to keep it clean, classy, and safe.
Yeah. Okay.
This is really nice, and I've never actually been inside of a HOTWORX. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely going to have to take a tour because it sounds very inviting.
You would love it. It's actually addictive. The regular detox process alone is very relaxing. I like to work out late at night. And so to work out late and detox and then go home and get some of the best sleep is one of the advantages that I love about HOTWORX. But people come to HOTWORX for different reasons. One, we're a 24-hour infrared fitness studio where you work out inside of the infrared saunas. We go by a 3-dimensional training method, combining heat, infrared, and exercise. So with that combination, the workouts are short because, you burn so many calories in a very short amount of time. So we call it more workout, less time. And our workouts are 15 or 30-minute sessions. Okay. Yeah, so you don't have to be in the gym all day to achieve weight loss results at a HOTWORX.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely have to check out HOTWORX.
So people come in because of the convenience. We're in the medical district. Luckily, it's a great area. It's also the Edge District, so it's between Midtown and downtown, which allows us to service the South Memphis, the Midtown, downtown, West Memphis, Marion, the Raleigh, Fraser, Whitehaven areas. All those areas kind of hit us because they're all,
centrally located around.
They're essentially right there, the interstate. You get off and boom, you're right there at our HOTWORX. And so it's a very good location. We service a great audience around us, and we're grateful, especially being with the hospitals. The UT medical health science college is right across the street. We have a new Aldi's, new apartments all around. So we're in a great, thriving area. So other reasons why people come to HOTWORX is because they're trying to recover or rehabilitate their bodies. And so infrared penetrates at a cellular level, produces cell turnover, skin rejuvenation. And so you're actually anti-aging every time you're in a HOTWORX sauna, an infrared sauna. And you're not just anti-aging like your face. Yes, you're producing the cell turnover. It's going to look like you had a sauna facial every time you come out, but you're doing that to your whole body. And so people love that aspect. And if you've had recent surgeries, knee surgery, back surgery, hip, rotator cuff, your chiropractor or pain management doctor may send you to a HOTWORX because you're surrounded with infrared, and that's going to help you recover faster. They actually use that. If you've ever paid attention, a lot of times they're using the red light. So the infrared has to be close enough to the skin to even penetrate. And our saunas are patented and designed for all the infrared to penetrate to you at a cellular level.
Yeah, I think some fitness gyms have infrared if they incorporate it, but if it's at a certain distance, it's not giving you the benefits like in an actual sauna, because the saunas are like 9 by 9, so the ceramic heaters are much closer, so you benefit a lot better.
So you have to be careful of marketing gimmicks. When people say you got the infrared, you go in, there's big red lights everywhere, because you really can't see infrared.
So if it's not in close proximity, it's not really benefiting.
Yeah, not as much.
No, because it's not able to penetrate at the cellular level.
Right, right. You get the heat, but you don't get the actual
And this is better than a steam sauna.
Oh, traditional heat, as Carmella would tell you, actually, well, not traditional heat, but traditional saunas actually ages your skin versus infrared anti-ages.
Yeah, because they use convection heaters. And so that's in even like Bikram yogas, when people do other hot yogas, sauna rooms, steam rooms, it's not the same. So we try to tell people, they're like, oh, we got a sauna in our gym. Well, it's not the same as an infrared sauna, unless they have an infrared sauna.
Oh, so they've been selling folks on that for years about
absolutely.
the sauna, thinking just that, so that convection heat is not the same as the infrared.
No, it dries you and ages you faster than an infrared that is producing cell turnover constantly.
Wow.
So you're going to be more youthful. So people who have, you'd be surprised. I was talking to a lady last night. We went in to fill some of the tanks on our rowing machine, and one of the members was telling me, I met this 62-year-old lady, and she works with me, and she looks great. And I was talking to her about her exercise regimen, and she goes, she says, look at my before and my after picture. And she was like, oh my God, that doesn't even look like you. And she was like, what do you do? She said, well, I go to this place called HOTWORX.
So HOTWORX got ladies out here, Felicia Rashad. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So just keep that in mind.
Right.
Okay, see, that may have gotten some of you who was like, I don't know if I want to do this, but you heard that and you like, let me sign up. Okay.
Yeah.
So listen, I understand you guys have also hosted a few events as well. I'm a sucker for events. I love events. I love planning them. So tell us about the Summer Soiree.
Summer Soiree is, we do events to kind of promote you getting your summer body. And so we'll do like a girls' night. We do like sip and sweat or sip and brew, where but there's a brewery, a beer brewery close to us. And so they'll come in and sweat, and then we'll go around the corner and everybody goes drink beer. And then you can come back and sweat it out if you want to. But we do little things like that, especially geared towards the summer, because for us in the summer months, people are looking at the hot, humid heat of Memphis, and they're like, I'm going to go get in a sauna, where I try to tell people, well, infrared heat is dry. So if you think Arizona desert, don't think the hot Memphis humid heat. That's not how it feels. It steadily feels good, and you're getting the benefits of infrared, which is continuing to rejuvenate and heal your body. and the detox process. And we need that all year long. So we promote special events around summer to make people more motivated and engaged in continuing to use the studio, because people tend to shy away towards in the heat.
Right. Especially, people have those New Year's resolutions that they make, and I'm going to work out more, and I'm going to do this more, and I'm going to do this.
Oh, yeah.
So those are some things that'll keep you coming.
Oh,
in
absolutely. So those are our biggest months, of course, but probably most gyms. And that's also, for HOTWORX, that's where we gain most of our members to help sustain us through those summer months, because, you're going to get cancellations, or you can pause or freeze your membership. So we always try to stress that. And being that we're right across from the UT medical school, a lot of the students don't actually live in the Memphis area. So they're more apt to freeze and then come back and, renew or regain the membership once they get back in the fall.
Okay, well, you all have a diverse business portfolio, so I wanted to ask you to tell us a little bit more about the real estate side of it.
I actually started real estate back in '96. I bought my first home. And from that point on, I had other things come up that I needed to supplement my current paycheck. So I said, what could I do? So I got into real estate, bought one.
So did you get into it as an agent or as an investor?
No, just an investor.
Investor.
Yeah, I bought a home and I was renting it out. I thought about doing the flipping type thing, but then I said, no, let me hold it for a minute. So once I held one, I bought another, and being a landlord is tough, but it's, the benefits from, the monthly cash flow is good. So I actually had rental properties for 20 years and sold it right before the pandemic hit.
Oh. Yeah. So you got a good ROI on
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I told you that I'm my side hustle used to be entertaining, singing with wedding bands through booking agencies and things. And so one of the guys in the band was a carpenter and did construction. And one of the investors that he worked or did work for was looking to unload a couple properties. And that's actually how I got into the real estate market, by, acquiring those properties, becoming the owner. And then I acquired more and more. So I had several rental properties before I married, and it was some work. So if you think in IT career, I'm still gigging, and I am trying to self-manage rental properties. It was totally some work. And I actually unloaded a few before I married Jason. And so my idea was to unload, because I'm trying to the world was changing, and being a landlord, like today, if I was a landlord, I probably wouldn't be here today because the people, the personalities and things. So I basically towards, when it became COVID, before COVID, and was approaching that time, I wanted to unload all the properties we had because I wanted to make sure we were safe, because
right.
It's just not a good time right now to be dealing with people you don't know in areas. And
So was your real estate property portfolio a combination of single family homes, townhomes, condos, or duplexes, or a combination of all of that, or one particular, mostly?
Mine was mostly single family homes and townhomes.
Okay.
Yeah, mine were all single family homes.
Single family
yes,
homes.
Yes.
Yeah, because we all know, as I always say, I've said before on this podcast, Memphis is being gentrified, just like a lot of urban cities where you have a high African American or minority population.
True.
And so you just look at downtown. I'm not originally from Memphis, but I do know that a certain area where they have apartments and everything used to be from people that's from here. Just tell me they were projects.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And but that's happening in every city
Yes.
around the country. Folks are kind of moving back from the suburbs and moving towards the downtown area, which now they building up in the prices. Like I went to college in Nashville. Nashville just did a 180 flip. It's like Atlanta, New York City, JV, the cost of living up there.
That's true.
For my friends who still live up there, nothing like it was when we was attending Tennessee State back in the 90s. So, but yeah.
Yeah. And they've gentrified a whole lot. Matter of fact, we were, when we purchased our home downtown, because if we didn't find one with a garage, we weren't moving downtown. Because my idea was, okay, we lived in Cordova, let's go and rent for a year and just see if we like it, And when we got down there, the prices were high. And, like street parking, or if you did live in a condo, they may give you a parking space. You got to go pay for it. Now, he was like, okay, we're not moving down. I was like, no. And so we lucked up on a new development that was being built, Frontline Townhomes. And we went and looked at them, and they're 2-car garages. We had like 2,700 square foot. Okay. And he was like, okay, we can do this. I said, we can do this. So that's how we ended up moving downtown.
Well, another reason why costs be higher downtown is because you're next to the Mississippi. So they're like the Mississippi River is the Gulf of Mexico, which it ain't. Right. It's still a big landmark. But anytime you buy a body of water, I learned that a long time ago. I said, hey, why is this? Oh, because you overlooking the water. I'm like, but that ain't like that's the ocean or the Gulf. But it's a body of water. Mississippi River is a big river, but it's still. So if you looking over that water, you're gonna pay in strength wherever you stand at. Yeah, so I learned that a long time ago. I was like, man, that is not the Gulf of Mexico. But no, it's the Mississippi River. Look at the view when the sun come up. I'm like, man, God. So that's the nature of the business when it comes to that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. I'm just sitting here listening.
Well, I love downtown
Great
living.
information.
I love downtown living. Now that I live downtown, I don't think that I would want to live in any other area of Memphis. Honestly, that's just me.
I've heard that from a lot of people who move downtown, especially from the different areas and the different things, and being able to, as you said before, being able to walk to where you're going, and it's like right there at your fingertips, and you can just go ahead and.
I get out late. Cool. I walk the dogs late. We can walk down Main Street, through Bill. I mean, it's great. I mean, I love it.
The right times.
Oh, yeah.
During the day.
Of course, yeah.
Well, I mean, we go out and walk at 9, 10 o'clock at night all the time with the dogs. I mean, it's, it's getting more and more safe, especially now that they're reinforcing more police downtown, the command center, things like that. They're making it a lot safer.
So y'all can catch the Isley Brothers concert at the Forum, and you ain't got to worry about driving. Just, I guess I
we
can
walk,
see.
and then
you don't have to worry about the parking, and you're gonna have to pay for this parking. And
That's right.
Yeah, and we ride the scooters back.
Means you got a place I can park when I'm just playing.
No, we just got those 2-car garages.
So you did mention that you had the virtual-led infrared session. So how does that work?
So it's 3 virtual instructors that are on the screen inside the sauna. So whether you're intermediate, beginner, or advanced, you can follow along with the sauna sessions. And we got a lot of people. I tell people to look at it like choreography, because some people, have never done yogas or Pilates and things like that. So it's a new concept. So I tell them to look at it as choreography. Look at it first, get the moves, try the moves, and then try to put everything together. And each time that you go, you're going to become more and more advanced with your moves, the right posture. And each time, all of that is working your muscles. And so you're really increasing your muscle strength each time that you go, little by little, and you just don't know you're doing it like that.
And the isometric workouts, at first, being a man, I would think, hey, isometric, just doing these particular movements, holding poses.
Yeah.
I thought that was a woman type thing. The first of all, you're in the infrared heat, and holding these poses are definitely something that a man needs to try. It's not as easy as you would think.
Yeah. You're engaging all of your muscles, your core, which is why we have a hot core session. We have a hot warrior session, which is really athletic conditioning. A lot of people that are into sports, if you've done football, basketball, y'all already doing these workouts. Y'all just don't know y'all doing advanced yoga and Pilates moves, but they're the same type of moves.
Yeah, we actually had a UFC fighter that travels the world come to our HOTWORX. He was staying downtown, came to our HOTWORX just to burn a lot of
To drop weight.
water weight, just to fit his weight.
Yeah, he needed to drop weight before he weighed in the next night.
It's interesting to me because, you know, you'll see the TV shows where you have the women trying to take their husbands to the to do yoga, and they're like, it's not as easy as you think it is and everything. And I'm like, I've never actually done yoga myself, but even in the shows and stuff, the men get to doing it. They're like, okay, wait a minute.
Right.
Right.
So it's a lot more to
So
it.
It
It
is.
was a
It
shock
is.
for me as well.
You know, your core is the center of everything. If you have to have that
back,
foundation, and yogas and those isometric movements help build that core up so that you can more easily in time do the moves. Just with any workout program, you know, you start it, you know, you get the cardio, you get the breathing. Some people stop, it gets hard, and then they don't go back or they get sore. In HOTWORX, it's a lot easier. You're coming into a warm state, your limbs are already warm, and the workouts are so low impact, you're not going to have that same soreness and feel. And if you did get some soreness or feel, let's say a bodybuilder, they have leg day, and you know how you can't do leg day twice, you know, that week. You need to spread it out. You're able to do our workout still and what we call active recovery, because you're recovering in the infrared, your limbs. And so you can jump back into another leg day a lot sooner than you would if you were not recovering with infrared.
Okay.
Well, I would say this before I go to my question. I've done yoga one time. I want to do it again, but the first time I did it, man, I was in there like Tommy off Martin. You know, but it was something. You know, I had sort of the mentality like you had. I wasn't being chauvinistic, but I was like, but I said, you know, someone was like, when you gonna try it? I'm like, I try it.
Football.
But I knew what yoga was, but far as Pilates, at first I thought Pilates was a pastry. I said, what we getting all that? And they was like, no, so I've never tried that, but I can be honest, I was ignorant to the fact a few years ago what Pilates was. I said, what kind of pastry is that? Does it have, you know, what flavor it comes? They said, no, it's a, okay. But yeah, I'm trying to incorporate my own little yoga into when I do work out, but I do want to go back to a official yoga class just because, that stretching and stuff is, especially now this year I would be not from San Francisco, but I would be hitting the 49th mark. Right. And next year is a big 50.
That's right.
I do, from time to time, people look at me and don't think I'm my age, and I take that as a compliment because I got a son. My son is, we're 19 years apart. So, when he's around me, people think we're brothers until they hear him say pops.
Right.
So that's a good thing. But the body is a lot different than it was being in the 20s and 30s. So sometimes you get up in the morning and be like, why is my knee feeling like this? The shoulder or whatnot. Yes. So, but I definitely, that yoga, I tell anybody, yoga is cool. It's not, it doesn't make you feel like you're soft fellas or whatnot. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's actually going to help you.
It's quite the country.
It's quite the country. And we don't just offer yoga. So we got yoga, Pilates. We have ballet bar. It's a great lower body workout. We have hot buns where you work out with bands on your thighs that target your glutes. We have a resistance band, full body workout. We're using resistance bands the whole time you're in there. We have an advanced yoga and Pilates hot stretch, which is great stretching exercise. And I tell men, if you're not going to do yoga, at least do hot stretch. Because you have a lot of men that do golfing, and they're not flexible at all. And so this is going to help with that swing, the flexibility, the fluidness that you need with golf. But we also have those that I mentioned are what we call our isometric 30-minute workouts. Now we have also saunas that have equipment. So hot cycle, hot blast, and hot thunder. Hot cycle is where you're riding a bike, and the sauna, hot blast is an elliptical bike. So you're doing elliptical on top and you're biking at the bottom. And then we have a patented water rowing machine. It has dual pulleys, and you're doing a full body workout with a water rowing machine, water resistance tanks that create the resistance as you row. And it's a totally phenomenal workout. And then we have a gym. So people are like, oh, you have a gym too? We actually have a gym with free weights, kettlebells, nylon machine, the battle rope, the bench. And I have a barbell. We're not supposed to have barbells in HOTWORX, but I have one in my HOTWORX because we cater to a lot of CrossFitters and cross trainers. And so, I want to be able to draw that crowd. And so, we want to be able to service the audience and target the audience that's around us.
Okay.
That's definitely
pretty diverse.
Yes.
Well, since you're on the show, Cap, we always ask questions that coincide with the acronym. So how did you all cultivate your professional and personal passions into the business that you're building?
Well, I think growing up, I always had a passion to want to do more. I have three brothers. We all had competitive spirit. So, and then I had a father that didn't play. So
and he's a twin, so you can imagine the competition.
So, I would think with that type of background, that made me be the person I am today. So that's pretty much why I feel that HOTWORX, coming from this type of, I always was into fitness, played basketball, track, did a little tennis, that was just 1 year. I don't even know why I did it. But that was basically, I don't know what else to say about that.
Okay.
For me, I am always been a person that asks a lot of questions.
Oh, too many.
Hey, whatever. I know a lot. And that's probably why it intimidates you, but that's all good. No, I was just kidding. But I asked a lot of questions, and I love to work with my hands. And so it was three of us. I was the middle daughter, but I was the more tomboy, I guess you could say. I really didn't become really feminine until, I got older. But I was the one under the house with Dad and asking questions. How does this work, that work? My dad was a machinist, so I was always watching, and he had a lot of tools. And so I like to experiment and do things, fix stuff. I like to fix, which led me into IT, computers, hands-on. A lot of times, even in the positions, even if I was an IT director or manager or whatever, I was very hands-on. I could do the job of many of the employees that were in the IT area. Some jobs, I was the only IT person where I did everything. And so I think that's just the tech, and then being a person of a business mind, starting off, fixing things for people, even coming out of college, wanting to clean fish tanks, that entrepreneurial thing, going into training and teaching, softwares, all of that kind of blended and led me to where I am today with HOTWORX. So it's a very intriguing business. It's a great concept. It can sustain a pandemic. And I found that HOTWORX was able to sustain the pandemic simply because we have the individual saunas. And you have 3 people can fit into each sauna, but during COVID, you had to book the saunas individually, no matter, so no 3 people, you would book the one sauna. And then in the gym area, normally you can just go out and work. You can just come in and work out in the gym, but during COVID, you even had to book the gym, one person. And then the heat counters a lot of the effects of what the virus was doing to people then. And so people love to come in and detox and sweat it out. And so that's one of the reasons why HOTWORX was able to sustain the pandemic. That was intriguing. And then just the technology that you can utilize to operate HOTWORX. So all of that, I think, has helped me incorporate and cultivate based on where I came from into where I am today.
Okay.
That's
That's
awesome.
powerful. That is awesome. Oh,
Yeah, and also just the fact that it helped you to be able to sustain during the pandemic.
Yes.
Because I wasn't working at all, but I do run some side businesses. So I'm a life coach, and I started doing life coaching.
Oh, good.
But I was able to do that on Zoom. I
Zoom.
still do it on Zoom.
That's awesome.
And but I've done stage plays and I've done conferences. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So you were able to start something where you can actually still utilize it, and it didn't, put you at a point where you couldn't work. So that's pretty cool.
Yes. That was one of the drawing points for me. Definitely.
So you've built a thriving, successful business together. What have you accumulated in your endeavors over these years?
Many great partnerships and business-to-business relationships, networking. Like I said, Jason, I call Jason the maintenance man. He just comes in basically when things need to be fixed. But I pretty much run. HOTWORX, and luckily, this last year, I've been able to fully staff HOTWORX to where I haven't had to be there, and so it's allowed me to go out and really make some strategic moves, increase my marketing, these business to business sales, things like that. Helped me to look, just look at it a different way to see how I'm going to increase sales, how I'm going to change things up, how we're going to move with the trends, those types of things. And then, what do I want to do next? So I do a lot of work in the community. I am on the board of the Chris Hope Foundation. I don't know if you've heard of that, where, we service families in the area, or in some states now we've grown, whose child is in the hospital and they're needing treatment, and their families having to stay there. We may have to pay bills. We may have to buy groceries. We may have to, a lot of times it's terminally, so they're not going to live. So we do some last minute wishes, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that organization. I'm also a member of the Junior League of Memphis, a women organization where we do a lot of community work. CSLA, Community Service Leaders of America, where we go out into the community and we find other nonprofits or organizations that we can partner with to help, the lower income or areas, health fairs, feeding the homeless, things like that in the community. And I also am a career mentor with Code Crew, where adults that, Code Crew is so much more than adults, but I work for the adult code school side, where when the graduates graduate code school, I help them find entry-level software engineering positions. So just a way to give back and remain in the tech environment. And then I'm out honing my skills, doing, I just finished Emerging Leadership and Innovation Workshop or certificate at CBU. I'm constantly I'm in everything. I'm all around. It's one of those periods in my life now where I probably need to just be still.
So you Whitney Houston, you every woman.
I am every woman.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like it. I feel like I'm every woman for
feel the
sure.
same way.
Being a business owner, I tell people, entrepreneurship is great, but make sure it's something that you want to do. It's not just a thing that it's not like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. It's a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
It's a lot of work. It is not an 8 to 5. You go home, you go kick it with your friends. You wait, get up. No, you still working. You at a network event. You might kick it with some other business owners, and then you may have another networking event to attend, and then it's time to go to bed. But then you got friends calling, girl, come meet us here. I'll not be you nowhere. So
See, the cool thing too is that recognizing even when you are in that entrepreneurial state, you can't do it alone. So the fact that you have been able to hire a team,
oh yeah,
so it can make it a little bit easier for you to be able to go
absolutely
hang with some
Yes.
friends, spend
Yeah.
some time together to where you don't have to be, always there because you have people.
Oh yeah.
who are able
I mean,
to-
as an entrepreneur and business owner with a business of this size, you need to be able to scale. And,
Right.
as an owner, you don't need to be working always inside
Right.
the business. So if you're still working inside the business after a certain time, something's not right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my last question is with all your entrepreneur endeavors, how has it allowed you all to prosper? And prospering don't necessarily mean monetary, which that is one form of it, but how has it allowed you all to prosper?
I would say the relationships we've built, like Carmella mentioned earlier, the people we've met, a lot of that has played a big part in our having this business. So
I would say that the fact that it's allowed me to be able to give back in a way that I've never given before.
Well, that is amazing that you all. It's always good to give back.
It is.
Being active in the community, it's a blessing to be a blessing to help someone.
that's right.
Because that's a road that all of us have traveled in our life in some capacity. Been on the other side of it. And a lot of people forget that once they attain a certain amount of success.
That's right.
And I've been around fellas who, it's like, hold up, man, you wasn't always there. Don't do that. They see somebody like, man, that's like, but everyone has to deal with their own attitudes, their own insecurities, their own point of views, whether it's open-minded or narrow-minded.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always good to give back.
Absolutely.
In some capacity, because like I said, the Lord bless you to be a blessing.
That's right.
Right.
You know what I'm
Never
saying?
forget where you came from.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
And I just feel like I move better in the space that I'm in.
mhm.
I'm moving better. I see better, and I'm able to do more.
Okay. Well, we're about to move into the segment of our show where we have a little fun. This segment is called Top 5. So I'm gonna give you my top 5, and then you all can give me what you consider your top 5 in this category. It's in no particular order. It's just so I'm gonna start off with top 5 power couples. And since you all come on here and you all are doing things together as a couple, business wise and everything, I thought this was appropriate, fitting to do this. So I'm gonna say President Obama and First Lady Michelle, Sterling K. Brown, Ryan Michelle Beth. They're both are actor and actresses. Duvall and Kadeen Ellis, both are actors and actresses.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron and Savannah James, and Russell Wilson and Sierra.
I can agree.
Not
with
in any
those.
particular order, but those 5. When I say power couples or whatnot, they all, at least from what they show and when you see them out and about, love each other, work well together in what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I admire them all in some capacity for whatever reason, whether it's the acting skills, philanthropy, or whatever the case may be. So what would be Jason and Carmella's top 5 couples that you all would think, that you all admire?
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so hard. I'm a person that does not watch TV,
Okay.
so
Well, I do admit Michelle and Barack. That's number 1. Number 2.
I would say LeBron and his wife.
LeBron and
From what I
Savannah.
know
Okay.
of them, I love their relationship, and I love the aspect of how he still maintains family unit, with so much coming at him, and then seemingly he honors his wife and keeps that family unit together, and he gives back, constantly gives back.
Can we say a couple that might not have that's transitioned?
That's fine. I mean, it's your top 5,
okay.
and not in any order. Just
I
your
would say
top
Jimmy Carter and his wife.
5. Okay.
They did a lot philanthropy and just the way that they held them. The type of people they were.
Yeah.
Also, I look at too when you say power couples. Sometimes it's not necessarily people who are well known, but people that you
That's
know.
right.
Because
Yeah.
I'm not married, so I've seen a
Okay.
lot of people.
I would say my parents.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
definitely his
Definitely my
parents. Yeah, both his
they
parents are what
both were educators,
91 and
and
92.
they kept us in line. So
Okay.
definitely had to get an education or else.
Yeah, his father was actually the first Black teacher at Germantown.
Yeah, first Black teacher.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And my mom was she was a teacher at some elementary schools and became a guidance counselor. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was
So
something that
they've seen a lot. You know, they're both
Yeah.
in their 90s and they look great. Yeah, and they're
Okay.
still, like I said, they're still getting around more than we do.
Mhm.
That's what's up.
Mhm. We need one more.
We need one more. Who do we know locally? I'm gonna give a shout out to Shango and Sherry Cook.
Come on with the Shango. Come
Shane
on now.
Silk. No, Shane Silk.
Okay.
They're a great couple. Also, Tangi and what's Tangi's husband's name?
Marcus.
Is Marcus Logan. They live in Dallas, but they're native Memphians, and they also own a HOTWORX location in Princeton.
And Kenny and his wife that own Collierville location.
Yeah, Kenneth and she's gonna get me. Rhonda, Kenneth and Rhonda Burchett. They own the HOTWORX in Collierville.
Oh, they do.
So they're a great
Okay.
power couple, and they also own the HOTWORX
Ithaca, New York.
in Ithaca, New York. His son attends Cornell, and so they opened one up near Cornell University.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
dope.
See, y'all know people that can be power couples. I'm
I
just
had to go locally. I couldn't go.
Yeah, like I said, it was
yeah.
whether I just said people who were
Yeah.
nationally known, but
Oh, yeah.
I do know a few folks who were locally. It was just your five that you admire. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, I will agree with Barack and Michelle because actually, I ain't gonna go there. Actually, so Jason and I, we dated a long time before we married. And
Here we go.
so one of my things was, you know, after the third year,
Oh.
it's like, you don't know what you want,
All right,
you don't know
this-
what you want to do.
that's-
So
yourself.
I broke off everything, and I was like, don't call me, don't text me no more, clean break.
After the third year,
After the third year, right? Yeah.
okay.
but
So
obviously he knew what he wanted.
well, he came back, and the significance of me bringing up Michelle and Barack is because it was on the day that Barack Obama became president that we actually got back together. Like we called each other because it was such an awesome moment in time, and so we kind of shared that with each other, and then you know we've been rolling ever since. So
Okay.
That's what's up. I like that.
So he did the Shalimar the second time around.
That's right. There you go.
See, you can list yourselves as a power couple. Look at that.
well,
So-
you know, I tell these women don't be around here being foolish. You time to go.
Now, gonna have a little bit more fun with my top 5.
Okay.
So, you know, I am Memphis bred myself, native Memphian.
All right.
And, you know, something that Memphians love to do is talk about their favorite schools or what high school was better. My school was better, your school. You know, just like East High
Yes.
is better than Fairleigh.
Oh, okay.
Producer.
I'm not
Producer. I got to mess with our producer sometimes. So, we're going to do the top 5 high schools. So, me being, like I said, I graduated from East High. I'm a Mustang, just like the mayor of Memphis,
Okay.
Paul Young. We have had him on here. So, East High School. I also went to Whitehaven.
Okay.
So, I love Whitehaven. And because I'm a good person, I'm so likable, I can say Fairleigh is a good high school. I'll put Fairleigh in there.
Okay.
Okay, so other two, I've had a lot of involvement in schools. So I've worked with a lot of youth. So I would say Tresvent, because I've worked with a lot of students in Tresvent.
Okay.
And I would say kind of a tie with, I've had a lot of students I've worked with that went to Overton. And so many people are always talking about it and trying to put that "the" in front of it, even though I love to mess with them in doing it. I'll say Central High School.
Central High School.
You knew I was going to say Central.
So of course I'm going to grab our two. So I attended Overton, or graduated from Overton. He had graduated from Kirby. but I was actually assigned to Melrose.
Okay.
Melrose was changing a lot during that time, and Mom was like, okay, do you want to dance or sing? She came to me one day. I was like, what you talking about? She said, you want to dance or sing? Or you don't do music? I said, what you talking about? She was like, because you're not going to Melrose. So you're going to Overton. Her job was right down the street from Overton High School. And so she told my sister and I that that's where we were going. And so but I applaud her. She saved my life. I can say that. I probably would be a whole nother person if I didn't attend Overton. But all that to say, Overton, Kirby.
Kirby, when I was there.
Kirby, when you, whatever.
School.
But I'm not going to knock Melrose. I have a lot of friends that did attend Melrose, so I'm going to put Melrose in the group as one of the top. Let's see, who else? I would say Hillcrest. I had some cousins that played at Hillcrest football, and as well as Whitehaven. Is that 5?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not from Memphis, so I didn't attend any of those high schools, but I have worked at Kirby High. Kirby High was actually the first high school back in 2012 to 2014. I coached girls basketball for the first time ever, coaching girls in the sport. But I worked at Kirby High, and then once before I worked at Southwind High.
Okay.
Which out towards Hacks Cross. But but I've met people since I've lived in Memphis that went to, I know understand the rivalry with Whitehaven and I believe Fairleigh. Understand the rivalry. I would hear about the rivalry with Hamilton and Melrose. I've been to one of the games out at Melrose, and it was like a little mini classic. I got solicited for everything, walking from my car to the stadium, from food to liquor to, hey, sweetie, you want some company? I'm like, whoa. This is in the community of Orange Mound, not knocking on Orange Mound, but I'm just saying, so I understand that certain high schools around the city bring a certain flavor and culture to Memphis. So
it does.
Absolutely, yeah.
Did you have the same ones?
Well, mine, yeah.
No, he doesn't.
But Kirby's rivalry was Germantown. So
yeah.
So what are your top 5? So you just named Germantown, Kirby.
Well, I didn't name them like I said rivalry.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say Kirby. Overton was, they did a great job here, so I would say Overton.
That's sweet.
I would say Germantown. Your dad taught there.
Yeah, no doubt. He made a serious impact on Germantown. I would say Tresvant and Hillcrest. I had friends that went to Hillcrest and Tresvant. So
I think Kenneth Burchett and Rhonda them, and Tangi and Marcus. I think all of them graduated from Tresvant.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
So.
Yeah.
See,
My younger sister graduated from East.
Really?
She did. Yes.
That's pretty cool. What year?
I have no idea.
She would want you.
No, I don't know. I don't
young
remember.
lady.
I don't remember. It was in the 2000s. That's all I can tell you. I don't remember
Because
the year.
I'm more along the lines, be telling our age and stuff. I'm like actually the same age as Jerry. So we
Okay.
both graduated in the same year of 1995.
Okay.
Really? Y'all some young bucks. We can't tell when we graduated.
No, we're not telling you graduate, but we're not far off from you guys.
Come on now, y'all
We're not far off from you guys.
I would say maybe 1, 2 years, 3 years.
That's not bad at all.
I came out of Overton in 90.
See, that's not bad. It's
Okay,
all
let
when
it go. Turn that
when
way.
you start to look at it, like then it may have seemed like a lot, but now we're like the same age.
No, because I
practically.
still feel like I'm 14. Like literally, I have had so much energy my whole life. Like you can't sit me down. I don't know how to sit down.
It's like a little cockroach.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
cockroach.
Yeah.
That's a good thing because getting older doesn't have to. It's like a bad stigma on getting older. Like everything has to stop, and it doesn't.
I knock
You
people
just
out
have
the
to
box.
Take care of yourself.
I knock people out the box all the time. They say, "Give me your ID." You lying? I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's just how you feel.
I appreciate it because the alternative is not being in this joint. So
Right.
But I know a lot of times, sometimes folks think I'm younger than what I am, which I take as a compliment. And, and like I said, when my son is in my vicinity, is in my area, like I said, we tend to sometimes maybe look as like brothers as opposed to father and son to someone hear him say pops. And, and then my two brothers, I'm the oldest because I'm the oldest of all my siblings. But, sometimes standing between both of my brothers, them having a lot more facial hair than me and everything, people be like, well, who's the oldest, So I take that as a compliment.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I wouldn't take back, now that, I mentor and I deal with a lot of, they're not even kids, they're young adults. They're, in their 20s, into 30s. I wouldn't take back anything that I've learned, went through, how we gained information and knowledge back in the day compared to now, which has made us more resourceful, more resilient. I wouldn't take any of that back because I wish a lot of that would come back. I actually do. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's been one of the, I guess, the things for me is working within these generations, the Gen Zs especially.
Well, they have some, before we go to the next segment, they have some advantages with technology, but at the same time, the way we maneuvered, if all this was put to a halt, we still knew how to maneuver it.
That's right.
Now,
exactly.
If these folks ever hit that tower, we're going to find out who can survive and who can't.
That's right. What you talking about?
We all look at our phones because we do so much on our phones, but I still know how to still, maneuver it. It would be a shock for a brief moment if the phone just went out.
Right.
But
we know how to research.
Some folks, but some folks don't. That's all they know is this phone. All they know.
And then just think about
it.
Ask them to write something in cursive.
Oh,
that's something that our generation.
It's so funny. I was in.
They don't have a clue.
I was in one of my classes the other night, and one of the young students, she says, "Oh my God, I love your penmanship." And I was like, oh, that's chicken scratch. I'm chicken scratching, but it's neat enough. But she was like, I love it. And it was this cursive writing.
Right.
She didn't know what that was.
Because this generation definitely, I've heard people say it so many times, but then as soon as you said it that time, I started thinking about just like when you learned that the G is like this and going like this, but most people, they'll have the G the way it's supposed to be, and the R the way it's supposed to be, but then you'll start to write some of the letters in cursive and some of them are not. And I'm like, no, that ain't it.
Right. Yeah. And then the way that adding and subtraction, giving out the right change. They got to count in their head. Nope. They got to pull out something.
Right.
They don't, they just, it's different. So I'm grateful for the times that I grew up.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Amen.
And I think it helped me too to transition with the generations because I'm in technology. And so I've had to keep up with what technology is. So it's not such a hard sell for me as it would be like for my mom, when mom and them call you with the computer problem, she's like, Lord.
Yeah. Oh. So before we go to this next segment, everyone is listening and watching the show. That link below, click that link below, that link down below, subscribe to the C.A.P podcast, definitely. And also, if you have any questions for us on the banana peel, send your questions to that email below. And what is that email, Erica?
The CAPpodcast3@gmail.com.
The CAPpodcast3@gmail.com. So without further ado, we're about to get into the next segment, which is the banana peel. And today we have a pretty interesting banana peel. I'm going to let Erica, I read the last one from the last show. Go ahead and tell the good people.
Here we go, y'all.
What this one is.
And we're going to, as always, I'll read it. I'll say what I feel. He says what he feels, and then we'll invite our guests to do the same. So here we go. Banana peel. I've been dating this woman. He says, I've been dating this woman for 9 months. I like her a lot, and we enjoy each other's company. She has a 5-year-old daughter from a previous relationship whom I've become fond of. Her X is always finding ways to interrupt our quality time when he has their daughter. I overlooked it at first a few times, but now it's happening more frequently and I'm annoyed. I gotta let her know before it ruins a potential future with us going forward. How should I approach her? And again, this is from Darren from Dallas, Texas. Wow, Darren. Something that we always talk about during these banana peels is communication. So this is a relationship that you seem like you cherish, and it seems like it's going very well. So I'm glad you have found someone that you enjoy spending time with, not to mention her beautiful daughter. Now, I think that this can be resolved because he is her ex, but of course he's still going to be involved because of their daughter. But I think that going forward, it would be good to have a conversation with her so that you can maybe hope to decide what will be the best way in dealing with him, so that she can have a conversation with him, with her ex, to let it be known, okay, I have this relationship. This is the way it has to be. So let's make sure that we communicate, make sure that everything is together, but you have to make sure that you communicate this with her so that steps can be taken to make it better. Because obviously, if you've been together this long and she's allowed you to meet her daughter, she feels the same way about you. So hopefully you can come to a resolution, but the communication has to happen for any relationship to work.
It's good advice, Erica.
No doubt.
Darren,
When he starts like that.
say, man, old boy's on some old simp type energy. He had operative word that you said was when he bothers you all when he has their daughter. So that right there within itself lets you know he's on some bull jive, as they say, because he has their daughter. That should be his only concern. So you've been dating her for 9 months. Obviously, you care about her. You all are trying to build up to something possibly more, what it seems. But you got to let her know because, I know me for myself. I don't have a poker face. After I let some things ride, but after a little bit, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, let's have a conversation for this. This turns from diplomacy to something else, And I'm not saying it's got to go that route, but you got to let her know because if it's happening more frequently now, it's not going to stop. And if she's not saying anything or noticing it or whatnot, it's not going to stop him. He's saying he's doing that purposely. When you're dating someone with children, which I have done before, and I have learned some lessons from that, there's nothing wrong with that because, nowadays some people have children, some people don't. But there has to be healthy boundaries. Mm-hmm. And she has to set that boundary with her ex because if you don't say anything and she hasn't said anything, at least according to the email that you emailed us, as of yet, then what you think is going to happen, it's going to continue to happen. Now, I know you don't want to come off like being an asshole and like, hey, your baby daddy's over here with the full job. But you got to let her know because you already said now it's starting to annoy you. And that's, honestly, anyone that would annoy anybody.
Right.
But let her know how you're feeling. Give her examples, like a lawyer, like in a court. The lawyer's gonna present facts, present Exhibit A, Exhibit B. When you all have alone time, and he has their daughter, and then he's interrupting in some form or fashion, and just tell her in order for you all to move forward, that has to stop because I don't know what any man would want to deal with that. And if it was the flip side, I don't know too many sisters who would be dealing with that. So let her know so she can have a conversation with him. No, she don't control him because he's a whole grown man, but at least she can set some type of boundaries because he has their daughter. Then why is he bothering you all when he has their daughter? and which should be his only concern at this point, unless he still has some feelings for her, which is a whole nother thing.
That's right.
So, man, be cool about it. I get what you're saying, but now the ball is in your girl's court to set that boundary, which should have been already set. But since it's not, go ahead and set it so you all can, keep down this yellow brick road of love before you get off the beaten path and say you're gonna do that David Ruffin and walk away from that joint. So we're gonna let our esteemed guests chime in, since you all have been married and you got relationship knowledge. What would you tell the
love
folks?
to hear these kind of.
Well, me personally, like Darren has said, he's been dating this young lady for 9 months. That's quite a long time. So after 6 months, I would think it's getting to a certain point where they're feeling each other. They want to probably take it to another level. So I'm just speaking from my perspective. I would have this young man, I would meet him and let him know, hey, I love this young lady. I want a future with her and your daughter as well. So if she can't set the boundary, I won't set it. I'm just letting, as a man, because I want this relationship to prosper, and you got to come to him, not in a way to start some type of rift, but you just want to know your daughter's in good hands, so you shouldn't have any ill feelings or feel a certain way. I could see if he was the type of person that he would have reservations for, but if he's a good guy, I would step to him and let him know, hey, let's understand that your daughter is in good hands. That's where I would deal with it.
What's your take, Carmella?
I'm going to go to where I was with Jason. So when I met Jason, it's a breath of fresh air. I don't have any children. Jason has a daughter. And at the time when I met him, she was, I think, 9 years old. And, they were, doing the child support thing. So his days was every, Saturday? Every other Saturday?
You got to tell all the business.
No, every other Saturday. And he also asked the course, could he get her every Wednesday? So he saw her every Wednesday and Saturday, pretty much, every week. And while I was dating him, I respected the fact of how he initiated, how he wanted to see his daughter. And also, I didn't interfere. So if those were his days with his daughter, I didn't come around. There were some times he asked me to, but I wasn't intentionally around to interfere, because when she grew, I never wanted her to say I tried to take her daddy from her. And so I purposely put off marrying him, until another 6 years later, after the 3 years, even though at the third year I cut it off, we didn't marry till 3 years later. I wanted her to be older. I didn't want to interfere with that relationship of her bonding and growing in daddy's arms, so to speak. I listened to a psychotherapist probably for over 20 plus years now, Dr. Laura Schlesinger, who really gave really good practical advice on relationships, life, and children. Mm-hmm. And I remember her saying that, your child is one of your most important things. No one, even if you are going to be remarrying and things like that, your child should be considered first, because they didn't ask to be here. And so we have to make accommodations to make sure that we don't mess up anything in their lives based on the decisions that you make for your life. We have to always consider the child first. And so I put that at the forefront. I had enough going on in life, but I respected the fact that, that was his time with his daughter. So for this guy or this man, I like the way Jason said he would come to the guy and say, hey, I love her. I love your daughter. I like that approach because I just like the way he handled the relationship with his child's mother. She never came over to his house. He never went to her house. There was a mutual drop-off point each time they received the child and dropped off. It was never at each other's houses. And he mandated that. So as a man, he took charge of that. I could respect that because, again, I had come from relationships with so much baby mama drama, and I had absolutely none in his.
Okay.
That's because he took care of it beforehand.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So you all have that some experience with what he's dealing with. So Darren, Erica's giving you some advice. Our esteemed guests are giving you some advice. I've given you some advice. If your girl, whoever you're talking with, I would just say before we move on, give her the opportunity, since she knows this person, since they've got a child together or whatnot. But if you need to interject and man to man, and then I would say do that if you see if this is worth going forward. Because I get it. I understand how some people, no one has control over someone they used to date or been married to or whatnot. But some people do things out of spite, out of hurt. Some people are just being assholes. We're going to keep it 100.
Right.
But it takes somebody's got to be the mature adult. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to be the mature man. Somebody's got to be the mature woman in order to make anything move, shake, come together, stay intact. So I would just tell you to, allow her to give her a chance to see about, and if you need to interject, just say, hey, I'm going to say something to him. We'll talk man to man if that needs to be, so that can be corrected. Because what it sounds like is if he's always bothering you all when he has his daughter, then that seems kind of, that is fishy. And that's no salmon either, or catfish. Mm-hmm. That's that garbage. Mm-hmm. Right. You know what I'm saying? So with the best of luck to you, Darren. And I hope all of that works out for you. Okay, so now we've had a great show today.
Absolutely wonderful.
Enjoyed our conversation with our guests here. So now is your time to let our listeners and guests know about not only your business at HOTWORX, but anything else you have going on or anything else you want them to know as far as that they can patronize. You have at it. And all your social media handles where they can follow you all at.
Well, you guys can follow us at HOTWORX Edge District. The ampersand HOTWORX, HOTWORX, like X-ray, Edge District. And because our websites are so combined with other HOTWORX, I always tell people to just Google HOTWORX Edge District. Make sure you put the edge in there. And you will find us because we are all individually owned franchises. So, of course, we want you to patronize the HOTWORX Edge District. We are the largest HOTWORX in the Memphis area. And so you will definitely be in good hand. We love to transform and shape lives and follow you through your fitness journey. At our location, we have created a community of family. We call you guys Hot Warriors. And so you will blend with our Hot Warrior family. You're not just a number. We really do care that you're staying motivated. We have a workout buddy program that if you need to be more motivated or work out with someone to keep you more accountable to your workouts, we have that for you. So come and join HOTWORX Edge District and be a part of our fitness community.
Is that on Facebook and Instagram?
Yes, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at HOTWORX Edge District. You will be able to find us.
Okay. That's great.
Oh, and let me give the location. We're at 750 Madison Avenue, Suite 102, Memphis, Tennessee, 38103. We're in the Edge and Medical District. If you're familiar with Southwest College, the new Aldi's, UT Health Science College, all of that area, Le Bonheur, Regional 1, the Medical District, then you will find us at the corner of Madison and Manassas.
So that is how you can reach these good folks. Definitely support. I've had a tour of the facility. I got to get my workout in, and then I'm more than likely, when I join, definitely it's going to be that location. But so definitely you all who are trying to get get in shape, get your health right, go to HOTWORX Edge District, location she just stated. So now we're about to move into the segment of the show with Erica and the detour moment.
Hello, hello, hello. It's the detour moment. Listen, I love doing this section. So before I begin about the detour moment for today, if you're wanting to book me as a life coach or as a speaker, you can go to www.ericadjackson.com, or you can email me at Ephesians6pro@gmail.com. That's for if you're wanting someone as a life coach in business, a life coach in the schools, a life coach for your personal aspects. I'm available for conferences, for workshops, for seminars. I'm available. Also, you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram. Instagram, ejizzle34. Facebook, Erica Jackson. And you can also find me as E6 Coaching and Consulting and Ephesians 6 Productions. Now for the detours moment. So coming up this year in August, I have Manifest Conference. It's a conference that I started I had the idea in 2004, and I actually started it in 2018. It's a business conference that I do. I have gone through a lot of detours, be it if I've been doing a stage play, detours 1 and 2, or even in the conferences, even in business, even right now in doing the planning. I have gone through a lot, and it doesn't stop me. Actually, it makes me stronger. There has been so much that I have learned that comes into growing a business and keeping the business. It doesn't always have to be just about the money, but make sure that if you don't want to quit and if you don't want to just give up on something that you love doing, make sure this is something that you want to do. We've heard our guests talk about how much they've enjoyed the endeavors that they have been involved in. And it's a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. So don't quit when you get in that detour. Keep on going and manifest dreams, manifest purpose, manifest vision. And make sure that on August 9th, if you have a business, if you want to start a business, you are there at Manifest Conference. Keep on following me because I'm going to be giving a whole lot of more information on it. Don't give up in the detour.
Okay, that was some good advice from Erica. Before I get to the brain drop moment, that link below, you see if you need a speaker, someone to host on your panel or be on your panel, anything of that nature, you can reach me at Linktree/Jerry Davis. That's Linktree/Jerry Davis, or at author, like a book author, jdavis@gmail.com. I would love to come speak to your men's ministry, group, young people, anything of that nature, or be on a panel. I love doing panels, discussions like that. Just keep on the lookout. I will be doing some other things later this year, besides, of course, the podcast. So definitely keep a lookout for that. So the brain drop moment for today. Use rejection as a redirection for something greater. Let me say that again. Use rejection for a redirection for something greater. Let's just be honest. A lot of times as men and as women, we face rejection in life. You can be rejected from a opportunity. You can be rejected from a person that you desire. You can be rejected even from family, friends. And it's hard sometimes not to take that joint personal. Let's just be honest. But at the same time, when you look at the greater scheme of things and know that the Most High has something for you, everybody's not going to understand that. And you got to be okay with that. Now, once again, like I said, rejection definitely has never tasted sweet. It's a bitter taste. Don't let nobody lie to you. But as things move forward, you'll begin to see, if you trust in the Most High, you trust in God, that it will become sweeter and sweeter later on for what comes around the corner for you. And I've had to learn, I'm still learning that, but I've had to learn that in my life, and I'm sure that you have. So just use rejection as a redirection for something greater. Don't let it be the end all, be all, end all, because what you thought you wanted or was trying to pursue, whatever it may be, and if it didn't happen in your time, doesn't mean that God is not for you, or he may have something greater for you. And we all know, if you're a believer in faith, that his timing is not our timing. And that deals with patience. And Lord knows I constantly have to get my workout regimen in patience, because I can be impatient at times. But I'm learning more and more that, hey, just take any rejection, no matter where it comes from, as a redirection for something greater, and don't sweat it. That's the brain drop for the day.
Before we end,
go ahead.
Sorry. Before we end, just in listening to you, I wanted to just add one more thing. If I'm not mistaken, May has been Mental Awareness Month. So we all have been going through so much individually, collectively, everything. We have been going through so much. Make sure that you take time for self. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, as I believe I said, I did take time to even take off from work. Have yourself a mental break day. We're all going to need it, and never be ashamed to even go and talk to somebody if needed. But it's a lot going on. Just as Jerry said, sometimes our patience gets pretty thin. Oh, yeah. So we have to be careful. So just take time to think about that, especially during this month. It's never anything wrong with getting help and talking to someone, but take time for you.
Well. Right.
Yeah.
And at HOTWORX, we stress mental health and clarity. Like, you have access to saunas 24/7. So you don't always come in and have to do the workouts. You can come in and just relax, just zen out. And you can book back-to-back sessions, and you can just relax.
That's good that you all said that, because I forgot that May was Mental Health Month. I just knew it was Mother's Day month. Yeah. Next month is Father's Day, but you got a whole bunch of other new things that out that overshadow that. But that's neither here nor there. If your mind is sounding like them jacked up rotors on your brakes, yeah, you need to get that joint taken care of. Yeah. You start hearing too much of that and all of that, you need to get your mind right, people. So just remember that, and that's for all of us, man. No matter man or woman, black, white, whoever you are, it's really key, because we all have those moments where we, like the Furious Five, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, you be on the edge and don't nobody be knowing you on the edge. You know what I'm saying? So go to the Edge District and get on HOTWORX, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so we've had a great show today. Thank you all for coming along, coming aboard to share your story with us. I definitely will be participating and patronizing you all. I push everyone else to do the same if you're within the Memphis area or whatnot. And something I say to everyone after each episode of the podcast: if you're going to be anything in life, be for real. This is JD.
And this is Erica J.
Y'all have a good one.
See ya.